These are our views this morning. It's still quite smoky, as you can see. But yeah, I'm like most of the way up this climb. It's like a 3-mile climb. I started at like 5:45, which was actually great. And I think it's a little cooler than yesterday so far. This is the only like long climb. After this, there's a long downhill and then like a 1.5 mile climb, and then we're on the side trail, which is mostly down. So it should be good, but that's where I'm at right now. And I should get to Skycomish, or at least to the trailhead, by like early to mid-afternoon. So it should be better than yesterday. I just have to not get heat exhaustion again. And it like definitely feels cooler than yesterday, but it's also before 7 and I'm still sweating buckets. So, all right, it's 8:30 a.m. I've already fallen in 2 different creeks and my feet are all wet. And in the process, I think my headlamp fell out of where I had put it in my pack. So I also no longer have a headlamp, which I'm actually kind of pissed about because the sun doesn't rise until like 6:37. And I've been getting up and starting to hike before dark. So that's how my morning's going. But I've got less than a mile on this second climb, and then I'll be on the side trail to Skycomish. Okay, it is like 10 a.m. and I'm taking my mid-morning break. I'll be done in like 5 or 10 minutes. I'm just eating this. I already ate some other stuff. I believe I have about 8 miles to the road. It's a little unclear whenever you're on a side trail because you don't have the exact mileage. But I think it's around 8. So I think I'm going to try to power through and like not do a lunch break, because if I do a lunch break, I'm going to be like 2 or 3 miles from the road, and that's just going to feel kind of silly when I could just like get into Skycomish and like know what's going on with trying to get my package and I don't know, smoke up ahead and things like that a little earlier. I feel a little better now that we've come off the other side of the ridge into these trees, like once I joined the side trail, because at the start of this morning it was really smoky. I was not enjoying it. I think I got 1 bar of service at the top of the climb and the AQI was like 160 or so, and the map of smoke was kind of like crazy to see because I was like, oh, it doesn't get better until I'm done and off trail, at least if the patterns continue how they are, which I think is somewhat likely because there are at least 3 or 4 fires in the Vig area that are over 5,000 acres that are surely contributing to all of this. Yeah, I was feeling even a little like dizzy and nauseous this morning, I think because of the smoke, which is just like hard to... I'm hoping for good news when I get into town, whether that be that the smoke's going to clear a little bit. I've heard that there might be some rain in the next couple days, which could really help out. But I'm getting a little antsy about it. So I will be excited when I have service and can tell what's going on a little more. But yeah, it's hard to avoid breathing in air. Kind of necessary. This is what I get for taking shortcuts and side trails. Fun. Okay, me and the other hiker we were both hitching, him to Leavenworth, me to Skycomish, after doing the shortcut, which I guess the downside of the shortcut is hitching was probably harder than it was at Stevens Pass. But we ended up getting rides at like exactly the same time after trying for me over an hour, him probably closer to 2, which was really nice. I got a ride from the Sprinter, who his name is just Sprinter, but I'm saying the as in the legendary, who I'd heard a lot about. He's been trail angeling this whole hiker season, but I hadn't really met him or gotten a ride from him or anything, so that was cool. Now I'm in Skycomish. I'm trying to figure out what to do because there are like a few moving parts. A, my box I can't pick up until Monday. I just double checked the post office to see if they had any like, call this if you want whatever, but they technically have like pickup hours on Saturday, but it's only 8 to 10 a.m. It's 2 p.m. So that's like a moving part. And then I don't know what to do about the smoke situation because it seems like right now as you go north it just gets worse, and like I'm in some PCT hiker group chats and a lot of people are bailing like not even at a town, but like having to randomly get off in the middle of nowhere, 30 miles north of Stevens Pass or whatever, just because everyone's getting sick from the smoke. And it's really good in Skycomish right now, but it's just worse the further east you go, and north. So I don't know if I want to like hang out and wait it out or try to like skip up to Stehekin and keep, like, I don't really know. So I think I'm gonna get a room for tonight here so that I can like chill and figure out what the hell I'm doing. I don't really want to spend money on a room for tomorrow night also, but if I end up needing to, I will, maybe. So I don't know, that's my not really vague plan. I'm just gonna figure it out. Okay, I got a room at the local inn for tonight that I believe is run by the mayor, which is just kind of funny. Definitely small town vibes. And they have loaner clothes, which is so nice because I don't know why, but they're like nowhere on the PCT has loaner clothes usually. The AT, like almost everywhere you stayed, would have loaner clothes for you to wear while you're there, while you're doing your laundry, stuff like that. And it's so nice both to like just be in like normal cotton clothes, but then also like loaner clothes means if you want to, you can like procrastinate doing your laundry versus like, oh, if I put off doing my laundry, I have to stay in my gross clothes. And I just got dinner. I got this basil balsamic ice cream, which is really good. It's kind of weird, but it's really good. And then I went to the bar and I got some seafood and potato wedges, low-key smaller than I hoped, but that's fine. I was gonna ramble at you, but I'm gonna eat and then ramble at you. Okay, I have eaten, and so now it's time for me to ramble about kind of what I figure is going on, what my plans are, or lack thereof. Basically, I'm trying to figure out the smoke situation because it's not great from here until the border. It's at least currently almost entirely along the trail within the like unhealthy AQI category of like above 150. And like I've been in that since Snoqualmie, so for the past 3 days. And I mean, I partially think that the heat was making me feel like crap, but I also think that it's probably pretty likely that the smoke was not helping at all, because I had been very headachy and lethargic and nauseous, and just like all around so crappy the last few days. Even though I've been doing low mileage, I did a 15 and 18 and then a 19, and I felt exhausted. And like some of the days I could also like feel the smoke. And so I'm a little worried about that. And so I was thinking about from here, like I can bus up to some, because, and also like this is something that all of the hikers are dealing with. So some people are hiking through it, but also a lot of hikers are getting off and either taking time off to hope that it clears up, or skipping up or like doing some kind of combination of that. And so I've heard that a lot of people skipped from here up to Stehekin, like they bussed to Chelan and then got the ferry to Stehekin, which is an option. But then I heard that the smoke is so bad in Stehekin that half of the people who skipped there then took the ferry back down to Chelan and just bussed to Mazama. I saw pictures that people were sending of Stehekin, and it does not look good at all. And so, like, what I think I'm gonna do that I have a lot of mixed feelings about is I might flip up to Mazama, because I can take a series of buses from here to Mazama, and then because I it's also difficult because you don't know if it's going to get better or worse, because the fires that are contributing to this are all like thousands of acres and 0% contained. There's at least 3 or 4 really big ones in the general area. And so, like, they're not going to get put out by any means, right? Because they're 0% contained and they're already thousands of acres. And so you don't really know what the smoke is going to do. Like, there's a small chance of rain tomorrow night, but it's like a 30% chance. And that could help, but it also might not even happen. And if it does, it might not help that much. I don't really know. And so it's hard because, like, I want to wait it out, because we're so close to the end. Like, I don't want to skip more, especially because I just skipped because I was sick and my feet were screwed up. And also, people who did that section, like, 2 days later ended up having to skip it because of the smoke. So, like, I had really wanted to, like, hike all the way to the end, but I think I'm gonna potentially, I'm not like 100% convinced on this, but honestly, it's looking like it might be the best option. Flip up to Mazama, because I really want to tag the border. Hike Hearts Pass to the border and back, which is 60 miles, and then assess my options based on both, like, the status of the smoke. Like, maybe it's gotten better. If it's gotten better, I can just southbound hike, either to Stehekin or all the way back to Stevens Pass, which would probably work out decently well because Stevens Pass is actually probably the clearest straight shot to Seattle anyway. And there's a bus that goes, and a train, I think, from Leavenworth to Seattle. Or if I, get off of Hearts Pass and it's really smoky still, worse, or just as bad, and or even if it's just as bad or like a little better, if I've kind of felt the effects while doing the Mazama to Hearts Pass and back, and like feel more solidified in not wanting to hike, then I don't have to. And like, logically, I think that this is a pretty good plan, because while I don't want to skip, I also don't want to like push through something that I think I have been feeling the effects of. But also, like, one other thing that I was talking with my parents on the phone about all of this, and like one thing I was saying is like it makes me kind of, I feel scared to skip or to flip up to Hearts Pass, because I also think having already reached the border will make it easier to rationalize, like, just stopping after getting back to Hearts Pass. And I, like,
it's really hard to dice out what percentage of your decisions are made because you're like feeling bad because of the smoke versus just feeling bad because you've hiked so long and you're just generally exhausted. Um, and like I think I have some like complicated feelings about like, and I've already skipped sections because of fires and like other things, but like especially being so close to the end, like it I'm worried it'll feel like giving up if I like if I just end up doing Hearts Pass to the border and back, and like I don't know. I'm not like super super distraught over it. I'm just upset over it. And I also need to take things one day at a time because maybe I get back from Hearts Pass and things are like totally fine and I and there's like not even a question about whether or not I can southbound hike back to Stevens or at least to Heakin, depending on timeline at that point. But I don't know. I think I'm just like scared and upset and kind of like this is not how I wanted my hike to end off on. You know, if this had happened in California, I wouldn't have cared at all. It's not that I don't. It's not that I mind skipping things when when it's not smart for me to do it. It's more so that this was supposed to be kind of the victory lap. Um, so I don't really know. Yeah, I but I think I'm gonna do that because I do really want to get to the monument. Um, and I'm also concerned that if I wait, it'll get worse. Plus, there's only so long I can wait. Um, and I think it'll be cleaner. Well, okay. Because, like, I could skip Justice to Heekin, but then it's like, A, if it is really bad, you've kind of committed yourself to pushing through a much longer stretch. Um, and B, there's the opportunity for the air quality like by the actual border to get way worse in those few days. So I kind of like the idea of flipping up and just hitting the border first to like get that done. Plus, then it would be cleaner. You have more of an opportunity to do all of the rest of it because you'd just be soboing. But at the same time, there's also more of a likelihood of you going, of me, I mean, me, going, F it, I'm done. I hit the border, I'm done. I don't even, I like, yeah. Anyway, I've got a lot of messy thoughts and feelings and all of that. So, with that, I will see you tomorrow.